Good morning, students. Today I would like to discuss a 1 proportion z-test that is appearing in the news. I posted an article a few days ago from Newsweek entitled "Risk of Getting COVID-19 Could Be Linked to Certain Blood Types." Okay. The first thing that I would like to test is the claim that type O blood people are less at risk of contracting the coronavirus. In order to run this hypothesis test, there's several things in this article that are all really good, but I want to focus on one particular sample. There's several samples to choose from, but I'm going to be using the sample of Wuhan. Okay, in this hypothesis test, we're testing whether or not the proportion of people that are sick are if they are more at risk if they are less at risk if they are type O blood. So the null hypothesis should suggest that there is no difference. So I would need to find what percentage of people in Wuhan are type O blood. 0.3384. And I have a claim that I would like to test, which would go my alternate hypothesis, that the proportion of people that are actually get sick is not the proportion of the population that are type O blood, but it should be less than that 33%. Okay, so do we have a sample? I'll be using the sample from Wuhan, the Wuhan hospital. Is it random? Are the people that are sick random? Are they independent? Is my sample size large enough? Do I have, of the people that are sick, do I have at least 10 of them that are type O blood, and do I have at least 10 of them that are not type O blood? And the 10% condition is do I have a sample size that is less than 10% of the entire population? Okay, so now we may use the 1 proportion z-test. In the mechanics, I need to know my sample size in Wuhan of the people that were sick. Those are the people I'm selecting. In Wuhan at that particular time, there were 1,175 sick patients. And they tell us the percentage of type O is 25.8, so 0.258. We can already see that it's less than the proportion that are type O blood. So my question is this low enough to suggest that people that are type O blood are less at risk? The X is not clear yet, but X would represent the number of people that are type O blood that are sick. So 25%, 25.8% of the 1,175. There are roughly 303 people with type O blood that are sick. All right, let's get into the calculator. Stat test. We're about to perform a 1 proportion z-test, choice 5. The null hypothesis suggested that there are 33% of people have type O blood. So there should be 33% of people of the infected sample that are type O blood. Of my sample, I stated that there were 303 people that are type O blood that are sick, of the total sample of 1,175 sick patients. Okay. Our alternative hypothesis suggested that the proportion of people that are type O blood should be less than that 33%. calculate. And we discover that our z-score is negative 5.8, an extremely low z-score, which means in my sampling distribution, which was centered around the proportion of 33% of people, 33% of people are type O blood, the chance that, the probability that, no, let me get my thoughts straight. The observed stat would fall way off the graph in the shaded region underneath here is, whoa, 2.7 times 10 to the negative 9. It's a scientific notation. It's extremely low number. Okay. It's basically, if this is a sampling distribution of showing all the possible ways that you could select 1,175 people, and for me to get the observed stat of only 303 of them that are sick, that should happen only, well less than 1% of the time. Conclusion: with a p-value so low, I'm just going to say less than 1%, we reject the null hypothesis. It is very, very unlikely that this would happen. Let's explain the p-value. If the blood type is not linked to blood type, if the risk of catching the coronavirus is not linked to blood types, then this observed stat of getting only 303 sick people with type O blood would happen only less than 1% of the time. There is sufficient evidence to suggest the null hypothesis. There is sufficient evidence to say that if you are type O blood, you are at less risk. Type O blood, the proportion of that is less than 30, is less than the stated null hypothesis, and they are less at risk. Disclaimer, I'm not saying that if you are type O blood that you have any sort of immunity. Just want to say that we are providing evidence to suggest that there is less risk for some reason that we have not explained, that if you're type O blood, you're less risk of contracting the coronavirus. Okay. Now I would like to see if you guys can repeat this, but with a different claim. The article also suggests that if you are type A blood, that you are more at risk. Please develop a hypothesis test, run through the model, run through the mechanics, come up with a p-value, and come up with a conclusion whether or not type A blood people are more at risk of contracting the coronavirus.